So a very good afternoon to everyone watching us live from across the globe, as well as from different parts of the country as well. We welcome everyone to a webinar on nursing KPI and indispensable role of nurses, organized by Society for Nursing Practices in association with Biolix and Technorit. So without much delay, we'd like to introduce our speaker for the afternoon, Mrs. Hema Malini ma'am, who is an assistant nursing superintendent at Vijaya Health Center. Ma'am, we welcome you to the webinar. And
Thank you, sir.
without much delay, I would like to like you to greet the audience and start your presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon to the delegates. Hope you're all staying safe during this COVID-19. And my sincere thanks to the coordinators and organizers of SFNP, Society for Nursing Practices Associate and the Technorate group of society. And especially Mrs. Pooja and Ms. Assis and my dear sir, Dr. Dinesh, my well-wisher who just connected me to this SFNP. And coming to the content, to the current scenario, when you want to go to any pharmacy 1, to get a surgical mask of 3 layer, in the month of October you go and it is of rupees 30, and in the month of November if you go, if it is of rupees 15, and if it is to the pharmacy B, and if you're getting it for 50 and 20, which one you'll go for? You will see the quality of it, and you will see the price of it, and you will see open up for a trial and then check whether it is really 3 layer is present for the protection from the COVID-19. Similarly, when you come to the healthcare industry, whatever is your performance, you must measure it to see the effectiveness of it. That's why we are here. And directly we are going to the topic of nursing key performance indicator and indispensable role of nurses. In the health services, information plays a pivotal role in promoting improvements in the safety and quality of client care. What do you mean by information? For example, if you have a patient fall and you need to identify in the trend of in the month of January how many it is, and then the month of February how many it is, and in the month of March how many it is. So you need to have a data. Data is wealth always in any healthcare industry. So you need to identify how many faults are there, and you need to find out the root cause analysis of it, and you need to share within your units, or you need to share within the forum of national and international what is the cutoff they have, what is the benchmark they have, and based on that you need to achieve a target in the future coming months. So that is the information which plays a pivotal role in promoting improvements in the safety and quality of client care. The delivery of care that need to be safe must be client oriented, compassionate, effective and efficient is the responsibility of all healthcare professionals, and requires information that is good quality, comparable and can be shared within the health sector. Continuing from that, health services performance indicator identify good practice and provide comparable within and between similar services. They also identify opportunities for improvement and the need for a more detailed investigations of standards, what we set in our particular institutions. The ultimate goal of performance indicator is to contribute to the provision of high quality, within quotation, high quality, safe and effective services that meets the needs of the service users. Service user in our current trend, it is our client, it is our patients who come for the service from our setup. When we discuss about the specific nursing and midwifery KPIs, performance indicator for nursing and midwifery identifies specific and measurable element of the quality and quantity of nursing and midwifery care provided. For an example, if a nurse is conducting a delivery and she's giving an episiotomy, and it is a, when you see the outcome, you can understand the process retrospectively. And she must have given a proper hand hygiene, and she must have done a meticulously, she must have given enough of analgesics, and she must have given a good comfort to the patient, and infection control especially she must have taken, so that there is no wound gaping. When you see the outcome of the patient and the episiotomy wound, there is no gaping, there is no infection, pain is less, you can see the smile on the mother. And performance indicators are needed to evaluate nursing intervention. Just now I mentioned, you should evaluate the intervention and implement the initiative to improve the quality and quantity. For example, if you want to evaluate the nursing intervention to prevent the fall of the client, whether the nurse has put the side rails, whether the call bell is working near to the patient, whether the anti-skid tiles are present, anti-skid mat is present, in the restroom there is a sidebar is present. All these are educated to the patient, that is within quotation underline point. Fine. So when there is a particular ward and the particular unit or particular nurse shift, there is no fall at all. So we can evaluate our interventions beautifully. All these patient safety interventions are beautifully followed. In addition, they identify the areas of good practices that must be recognized and celebrated based on HSE in 2015. And what is the meaning of key performance indicator? In the word itself, it is the indicator of what you have performed. It is a key performance indicator. It's a term used to measure or monitor performance against an agreed goal. Agreed goal within the institution, institution A or institution B, or with the organization like CDC or UNICEF or WHO. For example, rates of healthcare associated infections of varying type. I hope you all remember the rates of healthcare associated infection. That means high healthcare infections, hospital acquired infections. For example, one I can give you over here is ventilated associated pneumonia. The rate of CDC always it is less than 2 in India. So every healthcare institution should have it as a benchmark and need to achieve that. So patients who are ventilator, so associated infection need to be reduced. You need to track it. Continuation of that, organizations use key performance indicators at various level. Maybe at the organization level will be at higher level, and at the middle level like a department's level, at the lower level maybe at the individual level, targeted at the individual key performance indicators. Organizations use key performance indicators at the multiple level to evaluate their success at reaching the targets. High level key performance indicator may focus on the overall performance of the organization. For example, organization always been interested in the employee satisfaction, then only the outcome will be better of the institution. An employee turnover rate should be at the minimum at the any institution. That reflects your employee satisfaction. And while the low level key performance indicator may focus on process in departments such as human resource departments or billing department or the medical record department, the nursing department or housekeeping department and others. Every department should have employee retention, should be at the lesser rate. When you take an example here in the Department of Nursing, you can have one indicator as initial assessment of patient need to be done by the nurses within stipulated time. You can set that benchmark at your institutional level, maybe in 20 minutes or within 30 minutes. And as a department nursing director, she need to collate all the wards and she need to see the average of it. And with the next month, it should be reducing. It should be at the progressive end. And key performance indicator provides a focus for strategic and operational improvement. And for nursing and midwifery, it provides an opportunity to demonstrate the unique contribution of nurses and midwives in delivering the outcome of patient. Key performance indicator measure performance by showing trends to demonstrate that improvement are being made over time. The example I have given is the length of stay in a particular ward in a particular month. What is the length of stay? Actually, as the infection rate is increasing, the length of stay also will be increasing. When the diagnosis is being misleadingly diagnosed, it has been wrongly diagnosed, definitely the targeted treatment will not be achieved for the patient. So length of stay will be increased. So as the length of stay is at minimum, so you can surely say the patient care is being provided at the optimal level. And this helps the organization to improve the service they provide by identifying where performance is at the desired level and also identifying where improvements are required. By looking at this, the length of stay in the month of February, it is very high. You can understand what is the reason, whether hospital acquired infection rates are more in that particular period, what is the reason, and staff patient ratio has been very minimal, so that infection rates are high, or particular month census are more. Example, this COVID-19, every hospital the census are high, and even you are giving in the 4 shift. So nurse patient ratios also need to be targeted, so to avoid the antiviral load of the nurses. So these all the factors need to be considered, and you need to track the data. And KPI is a great way of showing how your service contributes to the national or local targets performance. And always you need to have a dashboard. Dashboard is nothing but whatever is the data based on months, and you need to project it into the in a public space. For example, if you go to even call center, they will have a what is the call time and what is the waiting time, whether it has been in the promoting trend, everything will be in the reception itself. Like the similar way, any healthcare institution also, in each department, they need to project like this kind of dashboard. Dashboard nothing but every month, what is your data? Are you going towards reaching your goal, or you are in the progressive style, or you are in the back trend? What is the reason for that? You can go for the analysis. It is a irreplaceable tool by collecting, grouping and organizing and visualizing the data like this on the projected boards, and with the pictorial representation. It is very clearly understood where is the line goes up, where is the line comes down. So where is the average waiting time, whether it is in the green zone or in the yellow zone or red zone. If it is the red zone, you need to have lot of time, you need to have lot of critics thinking to reduce the waiting time in any institution. Hello, Ashish sir. Hello. Hello. And any KPI, if you want to achieve a target, it needs to be well defined and quantifiable, and it needs to be communicated throughout your organization and department, and you need to be crucial to achieve your goal, and whatever the timeline you are just fixed, you need to achieve it within the particular timeline, and it need to be applicable to your line of department. And you see what is the felt need of the particular department. For example, in a HR department, staff resignations are more. You need to identify what are all the factors influencing staff retention and staff resignation. By looking at that, you need to really work on to reduce the staff resignation and improve the staff retention. And when we look into our types of key performance indicator, there are 3 main types of performance indicator: structure performance indicator, and process performance indicator, and outcome performance indicator. Structure performance indicator is this all what are all the resources you have in your institution to have a good outcome. For example, to prevent hospital-acquired infection, you need to have properly the soap solution need to be adequate and water resources need to be adequate, and also your hand rub solutions need to be adequate enough. Supply need to be adequate. When you place an indent, it need to come within the stipulated time. And when we look into a structure performance indicator, it's related to the resources of the healthcare system that contribute to its ability to meet the healthcare needs of the population. Structural indicators refers to the resources and in any building or equipment, availability of the specialist personnel and availability of the finance. And especially when you have a kind of example operation theatre unit. Per day, if there are 10 operations are running, so sick and absence rates are increased by the employees or the nurses or the ward boys or the surgeons over there. So definitely the infection rates will be higher. So, and staff turnover rate. These are all the structure performance indicator. The next level, middle level, is process performance indicator. It relates to the care delivered to the service user and how well it is delivered. What is the process of delivery? Okay, when you see the outcome, it reflects the process. When you get in the result of your any kind of exam, you get a university rank level. The process, when you look back, you must have had a streamlined preparation of the examination for the particular test result. The same thing over here. Process performance indicator relate to the care delivered to the service users and how well it is delivered. The process indicators measures the activities carried out in the assessment and treatment of service users and are often used to measure compliance with the recommended practice based on evidence of the consensus of expert. Example of the indicators include medication administration practice, assessment of the fall risk, assessment of pressure ulcer risk. For example, if you have assessment of pressure ulcer risk, skin integrity score, if you assess the patient properly, definitely you must have, if really the patient is at risk of developing pressure ulcer, you need to take lot of measures like nutritional measurement, nutritional support adequate, and also you need to changing of position of client when every 2 hours, and you need to provide the alphabet or water bed for the patient so that his pressure will be equalized, not in the highly bony prominent areas. So like this all the process what you take care, the best practices to prevent pressure ulcer. And outcome performance indicator, when your process performance indicator, when your structure performance indicator, everything is being taken care properly, definitely your outcome also will be best. Outcome performance indicator relate to the stage of health of the individual or population resulting from their interaction with the healthcare system. The examples are incidence of fall, incidence of pressure ulcer, patient experience of care. When you take care of everything, fall risk assessment, pressure ulcer assessment, patient satisfaction, every process if you take care beautifully, you must have taken care, definitely incidence of fall will be less, incidence of pressure ulcer will be less, and patient experience satisfaction will be more. And what is the purpose of having key performance indicator in a healthcare institution? You can view a snapshot of performance at the dashboard at the individual level or group level or department level or at the organization level and regional level. And you can very well, you can assess the current situation. For example, hospital acquired infection, ventilated associated pneumonia, your hospital rate is 5. Definitely you need to work hard. You need to have a process, best practice of care of patient with the ventilator. Then only your VAP rate will be reduced. You need to assess the current situation. You need to go back, retrospective analysis of all records, or you need to have a current practices on the job. You need to assess the care which is provided for the patient. So all these things when you do it, you need to have a key performance indicator properly. Assess the current situation and determine the root cause of identified problem areas. You need to set a goal, expectations, and financial incentives for any individual group or enterprises. Trend the performance of the selected individual group or enterprise over the time. Every monthly, you need to have a review meeting. You need to have a dashboard. You need to compare within the organization or at the regional level. And benefits of using KPI. I think by this time you can understand very well what is the use of key performance indicators. Anything which is not measured, you will not understand where you are and where you are going and where you will reach finally. Fine? I hope you understand, you accept my concept. Increases the management awareness. The stakeholders need to aware. For example, the structure performance indicator we have seen, the resources need to be good. There is no use of asking by the head of the institution or organization why there is a ventilated associated pneumonia is more, why there is a hospital infection rate is more, without authorizing a resources for the particular, right? So it having a KPI, sharing with among the stakeholder, disseminating among all the department, which is very relevant department, it increases the management awareness. If you are not measuring, you cannot project it. And focuses attention on the improvement opportunity. It's self-explanatory. When you understand where you are standing, then only there is a place for improvement and you can have an opportunity to improve. And how to choose exactly? There are a lot of key performance indicator. You can list even 50 to 100. But which one you should choose? Which one you need to focus? And as per priority, which one you need to target at the earliest. So choose the area to be measured based on the importance of the problem. That is the first number one. And service user safety and potential for the improvement. And controllability by the health or social care system or profession. For example, every month there are 2 or 3 patients falls from the bed. And you need, that is the main focus, because this fall even it can lead to sentinel event, kind of fracture, kind of head injury, kind of bleeding, intracranial bleeds, and patient satisfaction will be less, and automatically your inpatient service days will be less. So you need to choose the area based on the importance of the problem. And always KPI need to be smart to achieve the desired outcome. For example, the smart, the word itself, it just says mnemonic. Yes, it need to be specific to the problem. And it need to be measurable. Always any kind of objective or KPI, whatever you frame, it must be measurable. Then only you can achieve a target in a stipulated time. And it need to be attainable or achievable. And it need to be relevant what you are making your statement, and it need to be time bounded. Any objective element you are planning, always you need to have a time bound. This particular any kind of objective will be done within 5 to 10 days. So like that you need to formulate. So always all the key performance indicator need to be stated in the format of SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, and it to be relevant and time bounded. And what is the process? KPI process. Before achieving the outcome, there are certain steps you need to follow meticulously to achieve a desired outcome. The first step will be establishing a clear objective based on your priority problem. What is my priority problem? Which one I should choose first, and within how many months I'll be finishing it. Fine. So you need to establish a clear objective and outline the criteria, whether it's a 5-point Likert scale or whichever format you choose. So you need to outline the criteria and collect the data. You need to have a team of people. Based on the criteria, you need to have good training for them. Based on that, they need to collect the data within the stipulated time. and build your formulas and do the analysis, whether descriptive analysis or any analysis. You need to do the analysis based on formulas and present your KPI among the stakeholders. And most frequently cited key performance indicator in Department of Nursing, pressure ulcer incidence. So one example I will give you in detail, pressure ulcer incidence. When you take it in the month of, for example, October 2020, how many patients had pressure ulcer? In each ward, Department of Nursing, nursing superintendent or nursing director will take it into consideration full all 5 or 8 wards depending upon the institution. So she will take about in the month of October how many pressure ulcer incidents are happened, and the denominator will be how many, what is the IP service days of all the wards. For example, I have a male ward, there are 2 pressure ulcer. I have a female ward, there are 3 pressure ulcer. And full calendar days in the male ward, it was around 100 patients every day when you calculate the occupied bed, that is IP service days. So 100 beds, occupied beds, and in the female ward, 50 beds. So total number of pressure ulcer incidents will be 5 and IP service days will be 150. And multiplied by 1000, you will get the pressure ulcer incidence rate. Okay, so you need to identify like that. In the Department of Nursing dashboard, you need to specifically, in the Department of Nursing, this month rate of pressure ulcer is this, and you need to check it for November, and retrospectively you need to check for September and track the incidence, and then you achieve the outcome nil pressure ulcer in Department of Nursing. And next will be rate of healthcare associated infection, various types, and incidence of fall and medication error, hand hygiene complaints, incidence of complaints, any complaints by the patient grievance or employee grievance or relative grievance, anything it can be, and intravascular cannulation and intravascular puncture complications or hematoma kind, bleeding or hematoma, or accidental removal of tubes and catheter. Sometime in the ICU, patients, when the patients are restless, they may remove the ET tubes, or they may remove the Foley's catheter or intravenous catheter or central line catheter. So meticulously you need to follow it up. It can be, you need to track it and you need to project it. An adverse drug reaction and adverse drug event numbers and initial assessment. What is the average time taken when the patient comes? Initial assessment done by the doctors within how many minutes? Initial assessment of nurses which is done within how many minutes? And next month definitely you can go in the better way. You can reduce the timing of attending the patient and assessing the patient, and you will start your care at the early, and the patient's length of stay will be less. Nursing sensitive indicators are similar example we will see in this slide. Structural indicators, process and outcome indicator. So structural indicators always tell about the resources. As you all know, it is a supply of nursing staff. It's a man resources and money resources or material resources. Okay, and the man resources, number of nurses, how many number of nurses you have got for the 250 bedded hospital, and skill level of nursing staff. It is not only the head count, skill level of nursing. Any institution, the training department should be very effective to give the best nurses for the bedside. And education and certification levels of nursing staff. There, what is the skill level, the privilege, and what is their certain certified course they need to have. Based on that, you need to post the nurses for the better outcome. And process indicator, methods of patient assessment and nursing intervention. Nursing job satisfaction is also considered a process indicator. Outcome indicator example is pressure ulcer and falls. Indicators which is related to hospital-based nursing care and patient satisfaction with the pain management. It is not only nurses related, it is a medical team. It's a healthcare team related indicators. Patient satisfaction with the nursing care, patient satisfaction with the overall care, patient satisfaction with the medical information provided. As we said the previous slides, pressure ulcer, patient fall, nurse job satisfaction, and rates of nosocomial infection or hospital acquired infection, and total hours of nursing care per patient per day, and staffing next. And we will see some of the things in just detail. Average hospital stay. It evaluates the amount of time your patient stay in the particular ward, and it fluctuates with the procedures and operations, and measure it with the different units of your hospital, and set a target length of stay that your unit like to achieve. Maybe your length of stay, it differs for the each department. Medical department length of stay of patient can be even 10 days. Surgical department, they can come in daycare, and even it will be a single day. So for each department, you need to set a length of stay. For example, neuro unit, patient with the stroke patients will be more, so our length of stay will be more. So you need to compare your length of stay, average stay of the patients with a similar kind of department. That will be more valid. Bed occupancy rate, monitor the availability of the hospital bed, how many beds were occupied during a specific period, expressed in the percentage. And higher occupancy will be in the particularly in case of during pandemic time like this COVID, and keep the occupancy under control, and facility pressure, and then high number of infection can be more when the occupancy is more with the less resources. Medical equipment utilization, especially tracking the utilization of medical equipment, it plays a major role. There is no point in using a ABG machine in a surgical unit where it is not at all required. So technological advancement and then more treatment options it required. Higher number of medical equipments are available, and increase cost of maintenance, wrong purchase decisions, or lower quality of patient care. So goal will be better asset management process. As I said, reallocation of equipment where is needed the most. Another one is patient room turnover rate. Patient room turnover rate. I'm sorry. Patient turnover rate, you need to balance the turnover with the speed and then quality. The patients leaves the room, the activities of cleaning and deep cleaning, and then evaluating the equipment functionality of it, preparing the room for another patient to enter, and changing the medical materials, all fall under the turnover. So you need to have a performance indicator to improve the room turnover rate, include the high quality standard of cleaning services, and introduce a tracking system to know which beds are available. Hospital readmission rates. Learn more about learn how many patients are coming back. So it is not specifically about the nursing indicator, as I mentioned previously. It is a medical team. It's an organization indicator. The readmission rate need to be very much less. Patient waiting time. Patient waiting time in the ER or patient waiting time in the casualty need to be meticulously tracked. Patient wait time is one of the most important aspect of patient containment. It measures the time it takes for anyone visiting your hospital from when they register to when they see the doctor and get the treatment. And it can be particularly interesting to measure it in the ER department to evaluate how prompt the hospital to deliver urgent services to its patients. Patient satisfaction. It is the main important organizational indicator to improve the satisfaction of the clients, to increase the occupancy. The showcase of your healthcare facility. This is another great healthcare key performance indicator example that should be a top priority for any healthcare organization in order to have a feedback and improve the services. Ask patient how they felt while being taken care of and how they would rate their meals. This is one example. The time taken by the doctors and nurses to explain the situation. And you need to have such assessment will provide you insights on the overall perception of your hospital services and show you which points can be improved. Besides, your patient will listen to their options and feelings are taken into account, which is another important component of the satisfaction score. The performance indicator, what in this is, the overall patient satisfaction is precisely the healthcare KPI that will attract or, on the contrary, scare away future patients. The higher it grows, the better it is. So patient satisfaction, you need to get it from the patient. You need to do the survey at admission, even during the course of stay, in the middle of the time. At the admission, it will tell you about the cleanliness of your room and everything, whether the delay in admitting, how long patient was waiting to be admitted. So at admission you need to do, and in the course of time, in the middle of the time or 5th day or 4th day, that will tell you about the care what he receives from the healthcare providers. And another one is at the doorstep. When he's getting discharged, that particular time, definitely you will be knowing about the overall experience of the patient. And some hospital will do only at the exit interview. That was the time if the patient bill amount is more. As usual, all the nurses will be knowing this. Patients will give you a bad feedback. Will tell the satisfaction is very poor. So we should not, he must have received the best care, but seeing the bill and touching at his pocket, definitely he will only very low satisfied. So it need to be given at the admission, at the middle of the time, at the discharge time. And staff to patient ratio need to be as stipulated by the INC or staff inspection unit. And the patient safety, as I mentioned in the previous slide, patient safety measures need to be provided properly to avoid the patient fall. Emergency room waiting time, the previous slide we have seen. So waiting time in any institution should be at the lesser level. That will reflect the organization, how well they are taking care of the patient who are coming in the emergency. And the 8% center key performance indicator. As we seen in the earlier slide, there are levels of key performance indicator. One is at the top level performance indicator, or I must have given low level. We can have it even middle level also. The top level performance indicator and middle level key performance indicator and low level performance indicator. Okay, it is top level is to have a patient satisfaction, turnover rate. Middle level is each department. Top level for the organization, middle level for the each department, and at the final level is for the each individual. This slide will speak about the individual key performance indicator. For example, nurses, when I take into consider, consistent delivery of nursing care against the identified need. If the patient has the problem of fever, nurses will check the temperature and the care will be given as per plan, consulting with the healthcare members as per the consultant order, and it will be evaluated whether the temperature is reduced or not. Again, it will be reassessed. It's not that after the 104 temperature, it has reached to 101. I will just leave like that because temperature is reduced. No, you need to reassess the temperature. Again, you need to set a goal and need to evaluate. It's a continuous process till the patient gets the normalcy. And the patient's confidence in the knowledge and skill of the nurse. You can get a survey from the patient, how confident the nurse was during the course of your stay, and how knowledgeable the nurse was and how skillful the nurse was. Maybe nurse A, nurse B. The patient must have had wound dressing from the nurse A and nurse B, okay, or Dr. A and Dr. B. So since it is the nursing KPI, I am just mentioning about the nurses. So you can get survey from the patient, which nurse was knowledgeable, her skill was good, your pain was less, she was compassionate, and she was done it with the steps, proper steps, with the clean step, with the sterile step she has followed. That was the indicator. The patient's sense of safety while under the care of the nurse. The patient's involvement in decision making. Each decision you need to involve the patient, and which nurse has done. Time spent by the nurses with the patient. And today's scenario, most of the people opinion is nurses are writing more after this kind of accredited hospital, and the care is very less. My dear nurses, please change the scenario, and your time spent by the bedside of the patient need to be more fine, and documents should be crispy and adequate, but it is not elaborate, spending most of the time in your documentation. Patient care is very, very, very important. A respect from the nurse for the patient's preference and choice. Nurses' support for the patient to care for themselves where appropriate. Nurses' understanding of what is important to the patient. Patient stories. When you want to, the previous slide, when we see consistent delivery of nursing care against the identified need. With this, you can ask the patient. You can have an interview with the patient. You can listen to the patient's stories. How did you feel throughout your hospital stay by each individual, each nurses or healthcare team members? So you can listen to the patient, they have an interview, or you can audio tape it, you can analyze it, and you can make it as a outcome. And patient survey you can do with a 5-point Likert scale or 4-point Likert scale from admission to discharge. Patient's involvement in decision made about his or her nursing care. So you can have a Likert scale like always, most of the time, and sometime and never, to analyze it using a descriptive statistics. Observing practice. So you can observe the practice of the every individual of the healthcare team. Time spent by the nurses, midwife with the patient. In their 8-hour shift or 6-hour shift, how many hours is been spent for the patient care at the bedside? What is the time spent for the documentation? So time spent at the bedside need to be more than the documents. Involves a 30-minute period of observation focusing on visibility of nurses in the identified patient areas. And it can be expressed in the percentage. And reviewing the patient record, asking a staff what kind of patient care, the documentation, if you want to really audit or you want to understand, you want to measure it, you can do the concurrent audit or retrospective audit. You can check it in the medical record, MRD, or you can even talk to the nurses. And patient satisfaction survey. There is a form, stipulated form, standardized in each institutions. You can provide to the patient to understand the patient satisfaction survey. You can understand the questions goes like this. Did you feel that the nurse had enough time to give the care which your child is needed? So you can get the answers and survey from the patient. Performance at the organizational level. So as we mentioned earlier, a consistent delivery of the nursing care against the identified need for patient satisfaction survey. Did you feel that the care of your child needed was delivered each day regardless of which nurse were in duty? This is what the performance indicator. So this is the KPI definition sheet. You can have a go through. What is the title? Okay, how we are stating it. What is your plan of check? It's monthly or weekly or in 6 months. So how we are planning to review the tracking method, and what is the owner of it, and to whom you are reporting it, when you are disseminating it. So this all will tell about any key performance indicator you are choosing. You need to document it like this. You need to share it with the stakeholders, decision maker, clinician, service provider, and service users. You need to have a committee members and advisory groups. And review, as I mentioned, it need to be reviewed at regular interval. Performance indicator should be assessed for removal or replacement. Once that performance indicator is achieved its target, remove it and go to the next performance indicator. So far we have seen what is key performance indicator and indispensable role of nurses. We have seen about what is the key performance indicator. It measures the performance what you are doing and you are tracking it and see the best outcome of it by comparing it within the institution or at the national level or international level we have seen. And we have seen the types, structure, process and outcome indicators we have seen, and we have seen about how to choose it. Based on the priority problem, we need to choose the first one and work on. And we have seen the process of performance indicator. What is the first step, second step, third and fourth and fifth step we have seen. And what is specific to the nurses key performance indicator we have seen, and what is at the organizational level and what is at the department level also we have seen. And finally, very important, after collecting all the thing and analyzing everything, you need to disseminate to the stakeholders within quotation. Very, very, very important. The owners of the organization must know the rates it, and you need to discuss with them and see whether it has been achieved and you are going for the next key performance indicator. Thank you one and all for your patient listening. Hope I have done the justice to this particular presentation. Any addition, the delegates, experts who are listeners, you can add any points or you can have some doubts, kindly come out. Any questions?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Like I don't see any questions till now. So we'll provide your mail ID to the delegates who are attending, ma'am, so that anyone who has a doubt can put your mail
Definitely.
regarding that. And if you also allow us, we'll also share a presentation to people who need it. Like there are certain people who ask for the presentation, like who find it interesting and all. They ask for the presentation, so we take the permission from the speaker so that we can
Yes,
share the
sir.
presentation later on. So if you
My
allow us, we'll
pleasure.
also share. Sure. Thank you
It's
so
my
much, ma'am.
pleasure,
So
sir. Thank you.
before we wind it up, ma'am, we'd like to tell all the delegates who are attending the webinar. Everyone will be receiving an email shortly regarding the feedback link for the webinar as well as the certificate download link as well. So you all will be getting your certificates and you'll all be allowed to give your valuable feedbacks for the webinar as well very soon. So nobody needs to panic about how you're going to get the certificates. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this
Thank you
beautiful
so
and
much.
informative webinar. And we will definitely look forward to working with you in the future as well.
Thank
And
you so much.
we assure all the delegates that we come, as you all know, that we can conduct webinars every week. So we'll be coming up with more informative and beautiful sessions in the future as well. So till the next time, we urge everyone to stay safe during this pandemic time. And till the next time, we assure everyone that we'll be coming up with more interesting webinars. And again, thank you, ma'am, for this beautiful webinar.
Thank you so much, sir, from my end for the beautiful organization and coordination.
Thank you.
So I thanks a lot your organization and thanks for the opportunity provided. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And thank you,
So much.
delegates, for
So
the listening. Thank you.
thank you. We'll wind it up now. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir. Thank you.